Hey everybody, god damn, we need some energy for this. AJ, tell us what we got.
Nothing's gonna jack you up without the jitters like Dubby. If you get an opportunity, check out all of their merchandise. They got the coolest shakers. They've got so many different flavors, and it literally will keep you going all night long. It is Dubby. When you go to their site, put in fans working, and we're gonna give you 10% off on any order that you put in. And then you could be as jacked up as me and the man they call Dave. Dave, speaking of being jacked up, what do you got for us this week?
10%, baby. Check it out. Talk about UFC 288.
Let's go through the main card. We're going to start off with...
You want to talk that prelim fight, though?
Matt Frivola knocked out Granite Chin Drew Dober. It was so impressive. That probably should have been on the main card, but what a way to get people to buy the pay-per-view, I guess. If that was their goal, they probably succeeded. So shout out to Matt Frivola. Bummer for Drew Dober. He thought it was a little bit early of a stoppage, but I mean, he was flatlined for a second there. So
yeah. I mean, I think he was understood eventually, but it's just one of those things where he knows that he can fight through adversity because he's done it before.
Absolutely.
But that's not the ref's job. The ref shouldn't give a shit that you can fight through adversity. You know, his job is to, like, are you, intelligently defending yourself in the moment? What does it look like to him to the best of his abilities?
Right. He can't know the threshold for knockout for every fighter in every promotion, so
and it changes,
right? Exactly.
Goes on
Kron Gracie versus Charles Jourdain.
Jourdain just looked like the better all-around MMA fighter here. I think we kind of thought that going in might be what happens here. We like Kron. We said he has submissions chance, and he did. I mean, as much as like that at times, like he would try to get some, but Jourdain was just competent enough. It's not like he was going to win a jiu-jitsu match, but he was competent enough in the realm of an MMA fight to get himself out of dangerous situations and then keep it standing and being able to do other things. And I mean, we kind of just saw this recently. It wasn't jiu-jitsu, but with wrestling with Charles Rosa Jr., when he fought somebody else who was just a competent MMA fighter all around. He wasn't necessarily a better wrestler, but he could get out of those situations and then eventually enforce his will. And that's what Charles Jourdain did here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it just was some old school fight that went like 7-10 rounds. You're like, man, Kron Gracie choked him out in round 9, right? But it's not the rules, and I think we're better off that it's not the rules. It's probably more of an exciting sport. But yeah, Charles Jourdain, just all around, looks like the better fighter.
Yeah, I guess Kron didn't work on his striking in the last 3 years that he was off, or he's just not interested in using it. But either way, he shouldn't be in the UFC, not fighting like that. I'm surprised if he makes it on the main card of a pay-per-view again, especially fighting like that. I don't think Dana was impressed, but shout out to Charles Jourdain. He looked great, back in the win column, did what he needed to do. I'm sure he wishes he could have got the finish, but he had a few losses in a row, so a win was the most important thing.
I'm liking out. Who's the guy that you like a lot? This big jiu-jitsu ace guy.
Ryan Hall.
What division does he fight at?
Same division, featherweight.
You could do that. That would be fun.
Yeah, people are talking about it, but Ryan does scoot around on his butt a lot, but he also throws in those Imanari rolls, which are, exciting if they're not done every 2 seconds. And he also is so unafraid to go to the ground that he'll throw all these spinning hook kicks and all that stuff. Kron had zero interest in fighting.
No, I favor Hall.
Yeah.
But it's probably the best stylistical matchup for Kron, given that Hall is just so willing to go to the ground.
It's the only person that's not going to beat him up on the feet. Yeah, right. Movsar Evloev versus Diego Lopez. This was a sleeper fight.
Diego Lopez came to fight. So much so they gave him his win bonus as well as his show business, and they both got fighted tonight too.
Yep, got paid.
He earned it. Like, he fought so hard on short notice, and he had a couple of deep submissions in there, and he was good on his feet too. But Movsar was just every bit up for it, man. You can see why this guy's undefeated. He's a guy, Movsar, that is, that with that undefeated record, I could see him getting a big fight next. But I was thinking, you know what? This is the timing of it all after this weekend. Maybe him and Charles Jourdain should fight each other. Same weight class. Jourdain's, fought some quality competition as well. And I'd say, why rush Movsar at this point?
Yeah, it's a great matchup. Evloev did get the decision, as I predicted, but the story of the fight obviously was Diego. What a performance. I mean, he really went in there and showed that he belongs in the UFC with this determination. He wasn't afraid to take the fight anywhere with Movsar, who is a very, very dangerous guy, as you said, undefeated. He gave Movsar all he could handle, so props to him. Props to Movsar for maybe taking him a little bit lately, but then being able to make adjustments and he got out of that knee bar. That was tough. Jessica Andrade versus Yan Zhaoyan.
Yan, really impressive here. Another one who just kind of surprises with performance. A quick knockout over Andrade. Did not see this coming. You know who did see it coming apparently was Freddie Roach, who was next to Dana White. And apparently he told Dana, if Andrade keeps throwing those leaping hooks like she's doing below that, like Yan is really good at hitting those straight jabs and those straight punches, and she's going to knock her out. And he called it. I think they kind of hinted at it. I don't know if in the world now what it's like over there in China, but I think if they could do a title fight with Yan in China, I think that could be big business for them.
That absolutely has to be next versus Weili. I was definitely not right about this one. I didn't realize Yan had the power to put Jessica out like that, so she just caught her chasing like Stipe did to Verdun back in the day. You know, she was just rushing in, no respect for Jan's power, and she paid for it. Good on Yan. Jessica, another one she's going to be upset about. Good luck to the next girl that fights her. I bet she fights a little bit more intelligently. Co-main event, Bilal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns.
Muhammad just looks like the better fighter all around here. Maybe some of that had to do with Burns. You know, he injured his shoulder on that takedown. Burns is fighting most of his fight with one arm, but maybe some of this had to do with the quick turnaround too. You know, Gilbert's body not peaking. And yeah, overall, it wasn't like a crazy exciting fight, but it just, you know, it wasn't like anything bad. I just thought Bilal Muhammad just looked like a better all-around fighter on this night. I'd be interested if Burns was able to not have such a short turnaround. But then again, Bilal took this fight during Ramadan too, so good on him. And without hearing when Kobe has his next title shot, I am starting to wonder if Bilal will end up with the next title shot, maybe in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to give Bilal the title shot after that performance. He would have needed to knock out or put Gilbert to sleep, I think. But I did call that Bilal would grind out a boring fight, but I didn't think it was going to be a striking match like that. I thought there was going to be a lot of clinching and grappling. But good on Bilal. He landed a lot of real heavy body kicks to Burns too, which I was impressed with. That's a new element he's added to his game for sure. Good on Bilal. I love watching him fight. He seems to get a lot of hate online, but people are haters online. So shout out to Bilal. I'm a fan of the guy. It's a bummer that Burns got hurt because that affected the fight so much. It would have been a completely different fight. I'm not saying that, you know, the outcome would have been different, but the actual fight would have been different. So
I think he should wait for a title shot at this point, though. I mean, it might.
He called out either Colby or Leon. So if Leon wants to sit and not fight, he said he wanted to take some time. I don't know how much time, but maybe Colby and Bilal is the fight. We'll see.
Yeah, you got Shaf in the background there too. At some point, somebody's going to probably have to take that fight if they don't want to, and that guy's a straight killer.
I think Usman should fight him, but Usman apparently is trying to chase Hazmat up to 185 or something. I don't know, or at a catch weight. Dana was like, "No, we're not."
Yeah, Hazmat actually just went online too and said, "I don't know why I'm training so hard. Like I want all these fights. I don't know what's going on." You know, and he mentioned the middleweight, but he mentioned a bunch of welterweights too. So I know why they don't want to give him the welterweight fight. He missed it by 8 pounds, but he seems to be in denial about that.
They got to get him somebody. Somebody has to fight the guy. I mean, he can't just sit. He's such a moneymaker for them right now. They just got to figure it out. All right, let's talk about the main event: Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo.
You know, this was an interesting fight in the sense that I thought Sterling won. I know some people thought Cejudo won. I think the majority thought Sterling won, but it was a close fight. But it wasn't a fight I walked away where I really had a feel. It wasn't a fight I watched where I thought, oh, wow, Sterling would win this fight 9 out of 10 times.
Right.
I watched this fight and I thought Sterling did enough to win on this night. They seemed very evenly matched, even to the point when the corners, when you look at them in between rounds, you know, both corners trying to encourage them. But you know, both seemed frustrated and realized that like nobody was really getting a clear cut on striking or wrestling. You know, Aljamain should be happy he got the win, and you also were able to hang wrestling wise with an Olympic gold medalist. So
took him down like 4 times.
Yeah, so awesome performance. You got your Sean O'Malley fight now, which
that's money. That's a big money fight for him.
It's a big money fight for him, right? But and a stylistic fight that definitely favors him. And then Cejudo, who looked like he was going to retire, now apparently wants to fight Merab, and Merab's all for it, which I'm super excited about that fight. That fight makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that fight. That is the toughest stylistic matchup for Merab. Henry might be the only person outside of Aljamain that could beat Merab in the division, I think. So I'm very excited for that fight. Yeah, so as far as the Aljo and Henry fight, Henry didn't look like he ever got into his old rhythm, but that could have been any number of things. The layoff, his age, or the fact that Aljo is just that good. You know, he doesn't really get the respect that he deserves, I think, but not always the most exciting. He does what he needs to do to win, a la GSP kind of thing. I just don't think that he gets the respect he deserves. So shout out to Aljo also. He's a killer. It was a bummer for me when he won and people in New Jersey, you know, right next to his home are booing him like that. That was a bummer.
Yeah, no, me too. I just think that he's a smart kid. When you talk about like he wants to have a rump line or something coming out, and he's talking to people like Connor about stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's like this kid's smart. Like he's trying to like prepare for after fighting, and he's trying to get these big fights as big as he can get. And he's carved off a good path for himself. So I'm excited. I think he'll probably beat O'Malley, but I will say this: O'Malley is one of those guys that he just impresses me every time I see him in the sense that like, he looks like he's getting together. Like his performance against John, even if you didn't think he won that fight, was the best Sean O'Malley we had ever seen. And now he's taking more time off, and I think he's the kind of guy that keeps working at it and studying film. So it'll be an interesting fight, but it's hard for me to believe he'll be able to make that leap to overcome Aljamain in that wrestling.
I would definitely I would favor Aljo, but people talk about Sean O'Malley's jiu-jitsu and how it's so great. We haven't really seen it at all. We absolutely will see it in this fight with Aljo. It makes sense with him being so long to use those limbs in jiu-jitsu, but we haven't seen it. So he'll definitely be dangerous on the feet because he's so long. We're going to find out about his grappling for sure in that fight. Highlight of the entire card for me was when Sean O'Malley came into the octagon and gave his jacket to Merab. Merab put the jacket on. That was the highlight of the night. He put that jacket on looking like Michael Jackson or whatever, getting up on the cage. But shout out to Merab for sure. He's
smart.
He's hilarious.